What's good, fam? Happy New Year to you and those closest to you. I hope that this year you accomplish all your goals and you make some great memories. Now, I know it's been a hot minute since I last dropped an FBL video, and that's because trying to make 13 hours of footage entertaining was a challenge, but we are finally here. Today we have the complete Bulls vs Magic series to recap, so let's get into it. Now, before I forget, welcome back if you've been down from the ground floor, or welcome if you are new to the crew. Coming into the playoffs, the Eastern Conference was tight with the Magic in front of the Bulls only by 3 games overall and by 2 games in the conference. The Bulls, who just went through a 7-game battle with the Bucks, were able to take the first game in the series against the Magic in Orlando. Now, the start of Game 2 was no different than Game 1, with a lot of action in the first quarter and some good defense for both teams. The Magic took an early lead by attacking the paint and with some decent shooting around the perimeter. The Bulls, on the other hand, would take full advantage of fast breaks to hit transition threes and finish in the paint to keep the game close. Jumping into the second, the Bulls were down by 14 despite some good offensive sets. The Bulls at this point were trying to find their groove, but as for the Magic, Emmanuel Labissiere was one of the sparks off the bench with this nice bounce pass to Irvin Best for 2 points in the paint and to take a 16-point lead. Carson Shepherd, though, was the spark off the bench for the Bulls with a total of 17 points on the game. He would help change the momentum to get the Bulls back in the game during the quarter. On this play, Carson, who does not hesitate to shoot his shot, hit a mean green 3-ball to reduce the Bulls' deficit to 11. Emmanuel Labissiere lost sight of Carson, which was just what Carson needed on the play. Here we have Irvin Best, one of Orlando's many rookies who showed why he has the 5th highest shooting percentage from beyond the arc in the playoffs. The 7-for-1 power forward shot 46% from 3 during the regular season and 48% during the playoffs. On top of this, Alex Lewis would take back all of the points the Bulls fought hard for to go into the third quarter with a 15-point lead. Darren Harper, damn near getting tripled up, saw Alex Lewis open, and Alex buried the 3-ball with ease. Bulls 29, Magic 41. Alex Lewis, who went undrafted, mind you, led the Magic, scoring 10 out of the Magic's 24 points in the second quarter. He also accounted for 35% of the Magic's points in the first half. On this play, Alex shot a moving 3-point shot off the screen from Darren Harper to extend the Magic's lead by 14 points. Skylar Cash wasn't guarding up properly, and that was an easy bucket for Alex. Now in the third quarter, Carson Shepherd, the 2nd overall pick, would be the one to bring the Bulls back into the game again. This was coupled with the free points that the Magic gave up at the line to AJ West and Glenn Baldwin, as well as poor paint defense. Here, Glenn Baldwin found Carson Shepherd wide open, and Carson proceeded to bury the mean green from 3. Bulls now down by 6. Carson would lose Emmanuel Labissiere on the perimeter to finish at the rim for 2 points. However, the Magic was not having that, especially Alex Lewis. Alex would come back into the game and go off in the fourth quarter, giving the Bulls deja vu from the first quarter. Alex loves attacking the rim, and this time it worked in his favor and won. Now up by 18, Alex Lewis would take advantage of Elias Larson's pick to finish at the rim with a tough layup despite Roland Johnston's coverage and length. Pause. The Bulls weren't able to recover from this, and the Magic would go on to win Game 2 by 12 to tie the series in Orlando. Looking at the tail of the tape, Alex Lewis had one of his better games in the playoff with 26 points, 3 boards, and 8 assists on 55% shooting. For the Bulls, AJ West clocked in the last 3 minutes of the game to lead the Bulls in scoring with 24 points on 67% shooting. The Bulls would need to do better with protecting the ball, having given up 11 turnovers off steals and allowing points off the transition after missing the majority of their threes. In fact, the Bulls lived by the 3 and died by the 3, only making 3 out of 18 shots. This was a demonstrative win for the Magic, but Game 3 would be the pivotal one for both teams. The United Center was rocking for Game 3, with a lot of pressure for both the Bulls and the Magic to come out on top. Both teams would come out hot, with the Bulls taking a slight edge early in the game. 3 minutes into the first, Darren Harper, who is the playoff leader in rebounds, let the Bulls know that he can get his outside of the paint, hitting a surprise mean green from 3 to bring the game to within 1 point. The Bulls would later respond with a 3 of their own off the fast break transition from AJ West shooting from the right wing to take a 5-point lead. With 3 minutes left in the first, Emmanuel Labissiere gave flashes of his playmaking abilities with a nice lead bounce pass to Darren Harper for 2 easy points in the paint. Carson Shepherd would continue to remind the Magic to put some respect on his name after hitting a 20-foot 3-point shot. The Bulls up by 6. Lance Baylor, who was fairly quiet in the first 2 games, made noise on this play. With Kieran Doyle on coverage, Lance would blow by him and get a nasty poster on Kieran. Oof! Had that man kissing the floor, sheesh. Definitely one of the best dunks in the playoffs. The United Center erupted after this play. The Bulls were moving different, but they would need to keep this energy up in order to win the game. Here we have Emmanuel Labissiere attacking the rim to not only make a tough shot, but to draw contact and one. Emmanuel will end up making the freebie and using this tactic to reduce the Magic's deficit. Jumping into the second quarter, the Bulls continued to grow their lead with the feed from Rocky Chambers to Carson Shepherd, who hit a tough, moving mid-range shot. After just scoring a few seconds prior, Emmanuel Labissiere would finish the fast break with a dunk for his 13th point and 10th in the paint. Bulls only up by 2. Lance Baylor would answer back with a nice spin move to mix Kieran Doyle and finish in the paint himself. Emmanuel Labissiere would continue to strike and keep the game close with the dunk off the fast break. EJ Flores running at point is deadly, fam. Peep this no-look behind-the-back pass from EJ to Elias Larson in the paint for 2 points. The Magic were now down by 8. The Bulls fought much harder in the second to keep the Magic at bay, despite the persistence of Emmanuel Labissiere. Here, Emmanuel was able to get the steal off the ball, hitting his head oddly enough, and finishing the play with the dunk. To counter the Magic, the Bulls focused their attack on mismatches and mashing the paint. Here we have Lance Baylor with the mismatch on Alex Lewis. After a quick back down and drop step, Lance was able to easily score for 2 points. The Bulls will go into the half with a 10-point lead led by Lance Baylor, who had 13 points, 2 boards, and 4 assists. Darren Harper, on the other hand, for the Magic was close to a double-double with 18 points and 9 boards. Now in the third, the Magic came out swinging with determination as if they remembered how important this game was. Elias Larson got a great stop on G. Williams, with Darren Harper finding Alex Lewis in the corner to bury a mean green from 3. Alex would go on to score 10 straight points to bring the Magic back and to tie the game. Now tied at 66, we get a flash of AJ West's brilliance. AJ West with the spin move and dump down to Shannon Cage and 1. This would end the Magic's run and give the Bulls another 3-point lead. The Magic put together some great offensive and defensive sets to take the lead at the 7-minute mark after Darren Harper's mean green shot from 3. Woof! The Bulls were not prepared off the transition and got caught lacking. On this play, Emmanuel Labissiere had a great steal followed by a touchdown pass to Alex Lewis, who finished at the rim for 2 points. Emmanuel was trying to become the Kevin Love of the FBL with that pass, having done this a few times during the series. By the end of the third, the Magic would have a 14-point lead and extended this to a 20-point win to take the pivotal Game 3 in Chicago. The Bulls' defense absolutely collapsed during the third quarter, and offensively, they only shot 26% from the field compared to the Magic, who shot 62% from the field. In the third alone, the Magic scored 42 points, with 26 of them coming from the paint. Looking at the tail of the tape, Lance Baylor led the Bulls in scoring with 19 points, 4 boards, 7 assists, and 1 steal on 62% shooting, followed by Shannon Cage, who had an 18-point and 12-rebound double-double. Whereas with the Magic, they had 3 players with 20 points or more, led by Darren Harper, who had a 38-point and 20-board double-double, all while shooting 73% from the field and 60% from beyond the arc. Emmanuel Labissiere had his best game all season with 23 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals on 59% shooting, followed by Alex Lewis, who had another 20-point game with 4 rebounds, 4 assists, while shooting 47% from the field. The Magic were now 2 games away to head to the conference finals, and the Bulls needed to make adjustments quickly, having lost 2 in a row. As I said before, the Bulls had to make some serious changes after the blowout in Game 3 because a loss in this game wouldn't be the move, fam. To kick things off, the Magic used the same approach from the last game, which was to get into the paint and score quickly. G. Williams on this play would quickly return the favor with his own power dunk off the fast break to tie the game and make a statement. Here we have Darren Harper, who after receiving a pass from Alex Lewis, would hit the deep ball to take the lead again. Magic were now up by 3. The Magic would continue to apply pressure in the paint to take as big of a lead as the Bulls defense would allow. Here we have Skylar Cash, who made a tough layup over 2 defenders in the paint. At this point, the Magic hadn't scored in over 2 minutes, and the Magic were able to maintain a 3-point lead going into the second despite this. Diving into the second, here we have AJ West, who off the feed from Rocky Chambers would drive to the mid-range and take a leaning jump shot to bring the game to within 1. Down by 1 with under 5 minutes left in the quarter, Spencer Ryan would lead Irvin Best towards the rim with a nice bounce pass to take the lead again, making this the 8th lead change at this point in the game. The Magic would pounce again off the fast break with Spencer Ryan lightly scoring off the glass to extend the Magic's lead to 3 points. Lance Baylor would finally get in on the action with a double cross and layup to reduce the deficit by the 2-minute mark. Near the 1-minute mark, Lance Baylor here again with the great steal and dot to Glenn Baldwin, who finishes at the rim and 1. Glenn would go on to make the shot, but at the half, the Bulls were still down by 6. Alex Lewis would start off the third after a cold spell with a nice mean green midi to extend the Magic's lead to 8 points. But AJ West would answer right back with his own green midi with the score now Magic 56, Bulls 50. On the next play, we have Alex Lewis with the vision and the dot to EJ Flores, who buried a 3-point jumper to extend the Magic's lead. After a great stop from G. Williams, the Bulls would gain some much needed momentum to get back in the game after a drought. G. Williams would follow up this stop with a 3-ball to bring the game to within 5 points and would score 4 more points to get the Bulls back into the game. But Emmanuel Labissiere tried to put the Bulls on ice with this dunk after the fast break yet again. With almost 2 minutes left in the quarter, Kieran Doyle would make a tough layup to keep the Bulls at bay from taking the lead. With a 3-point margin, the underdog Glenn Baldwin would hit a clutch mean green from 3 to tie the game at 75. Shannon Cage would kick off the fourth strong with a dunk to take a 1-point lead, causing the United Center to erupt. With the Magic up by 3, Kieran Doyle would find himself making another tough layup in the paint over the 7'4" Roland Johnston. But that was what I was talking about when I said length earlier, pause. Kieran Doyle, again off the feed from Spencer Ryan, would hit another mean green from 3 to give the Magic more breathing room. Shannon Cage would take this personally and would score immediately on the next Bulls possession after the dot from Carson Shepard. At the 5-minute mark, the battle between the two teams was raging on, so every possession was crucial. EJ Flores found Darren Harper in the paint, who threw down a reverse dunk over Skylar Cash, Magic 101, Bulls 97. At the 3-minute mark, G. Williams would find Shannon Cage in the paint, who would get fouled by Elias Larson. Shannon would go on to make both free throws to tie the game. On this play, AJ West off of the feed from Roland Johnston would shoot a mid-range shot to end his drought and take the lead near the 2-minute mark. The Magic would battle to the very end, as we see here, with Darren Harper getting his own board and making the putback layup. However, the effort wouldn't be enough to seal the deal in Game 4. The Bulls tied the series after winning 117 to 111. Ooh, fam, when I tell you Game 4 was a roller coaster, you are going to have to take my word for it since I didn't show all of the highlights. But nonetheless, Shannon Cage came out here to play, tallying up a 30-point and 10-rebound double-double while shooting 65% from the field. He was followed by G. Williams, who had 23 points, 5 boards, and 5 assists, who was also then followed by Roland Johnson, who had 16 points, 9 boards, and 3 assists. Kieran Doyle surprisingly led the Magic with 24 points and 4 boards on 63% shooting, followed by Elias Larson, who had 20 points, 8 boards, and 2 assists, even though he couldn't keep his hands to himself. Then we had Darren Harper, who had his 3rd consecutive double-double with 19 points and 16 boards. Some key differences in this game is that the Bulls defended the paint a lot better this time around, only allowing 78 points compared to 92 in Game 3. Secondly, the Bulls limited the Magic's impact off the fast break. And then finally, Alex Lewis was absolutely atrocious compared to the previous game where he shot 1 for 10 by the second quarter and 5 for 22 by the end of the game. The Bulls took full advantage of Alex's poor shooting to reduce the deficit and ultimately take the lead for the win. With the series tied again, Game 5 was about to get live. We are now back in Orlando, series tied 2-2. The winner of this game will be one step closer to securing their spot in the conference finals. Before we get into the game, let me know down below who you got to win Game 5 and ultimately the series. Deep into the first, the Bulls were up by 5. Ruben Hernandez had a rough go of it in the beginning of the game, especially when dealing with Lance Baylor, who would block Ruben's shot at the low block. On the transition, the Bulls had the advantage but slowed down the pace. Lance Baylor would embarrass Kieran Doyle again by speeding by him for an easy close shot for 2 points. Shortly after, the Bulls would get another stop and Glenn Baldwin would take a page out of Carson Shepard's book to perform a gliding dunk for 2 points. The Bulls were now up by 9. Glenn wasn't done there. Moving off the ball with great passing from the Bulls, Glenn would shoot a mean green from 3 to extend the Bulls' lead. 25 seconds left in the quarter, Glenn Baldwin lost Ruben Hernandez off a pick again to hit a mean green midi to close out the quarter. 2 minutes into the second quarter, Spencer Ryan kickstarted the Magic's recovery from the first with a drive and dunk similar to Alex Lewis's dunk in a previous game. Although the Magic were down bad, Spencer Ryan was in attack mode, picking and making the right shots like this one from beyond the arc. Here, Spencer Ryan noticed the mismatch between Darren Harper and G. Williams. AJ West would support G, leaving Spencer open to let another green 3 rain down on the Bulls. AJ West would stop the Magic's 10-point run with this mid-range shot from the elbow over 2 defenders. Oof. Alex Lewis, on the other hand, was getting in his bag and giving Skylar Cash the business. Pause. Skylar would probably defend Alex until he got hit with the hop step, spin move, and layup from Alex. The Magic were now down by 7. Fast forward to the 5-minute mark, Skylar Cash would get back at Alex Lewis with this lovely reverse baseline layup with the finesse. Darren Harper would immediately respond with this green midi after losing AJ West off the dribble. The Magic were now down by 6. Spencer Ryan started off the half scorching hot. On this play, Spencer Ryan lost G. Williams around the pick and would bury a deep, mean green midi to reduce the Bulls' lead to 6 points. Near the 9-minute mark, Spencer Ryan drove to the rim again and made a tough layup, making this his 7th out of 8 made shots on the game. G. Williams would clap back immediately after with a 3-point shot since Spencer gave him all the space in the world. 5 minutes and 32 seconds left in the quarter, Lance Baylor would show some glimpses again with a nice leading bounce pass to Roland Johnston, who finished the play with a power dunk. The Bulls were now up by 17, and on this fast break, G. Williams dotted Lance Baylor in the corner, who shot a mean green from 3 to take a 20-point lead. This was essentially the final nail in the coffin because the Magic would not be able to get themselves out of this huge deficit. The Bulls would go on to destroy the Magic 136-111. This was a disappointing game for Magic fans after the Magic collapsed defensively in the third right after Elias Larson's 5th foul. Darren Harper had 37 points, but this game would end his double-double streak. In fact, the Bulls would close out more possessions than the Magic at least 12 times during the game. Shannon Cage would outshine again, scoring his new playoff high of 38 points with 11 rebounds, shooting an absurd 100% from the field. The Magic did not have an answer for Shannon in the paint, where he either laid up the ball, dunked it, or got put back layups. So, some observations I made during the game are as follows. First, EJ Flores isn't a true big in my opinion. For one, he doesn't protect the paint as he should, which is a liability for the Magic. 2, his height was also a liability for him compared to his matchup Roland Johnston. However, when the offense runs through EJ, the Magic performs really well because he's able to create plays for himself as well as his teammates. So to me, that means that EJ could either run at the 1 or the 3, but I'll leave that up to the coach or future coaches to make that determination. Another observation would be around Alex Lewis. In my opinion, he has a lot of potential, but he still needs to develop his playmaking ability outside of the paint. Alex likes to run it up in the paint, but he's also easily contested when he does so because of his height. When the team is down, he also tries to do it all by himself, which made it easier for the Bulls to shut the Magic down and run up the score. This game itself was a major blow to the Magic, and to make matters worse, they were headed back to Chicago for a win or go home situation. It is time for Game 6. The outcome of this game would have serious consequences. Either the Magic would come out on top and keep their championship push alive, or the Bulls will upset yet another high-seeded team and move on to the conference finals. Either way, I expected fireworks. 4 minutes in, Magic up by 5 and the Bulls on offense. Skylar Cash with the find to G. Williams, who finished with a tomahawk dunk. Spencer Ryan was sleeping on defense. Magic up by 3. 6:20 left in the quarter with Elias Larson being guarded by Rocky Chambers. Elias hit Rocky with the double tweens and drew contact on the shot and won. With the 2-point margin, the Magic were focused on slowing the Bulls' momentum. Emmanuel Labissiere dribbles past AJ West on the weak side and made a big floater over Orland Johnston. Here, Skylar Cash lost Emmanuel Labissiere with a deep crossover to finish the play with a layup. Orlando 19, Chicago 17. On this play, EJ Flores off the screen buried a deep mid-range shot over Roland Johnston to keep the lead. And here off the fast break, AJ West missed his layup, recovered and passed the ball to Rocky Chambers, who took the lead with this 3-point shot. With less than 30 seconds left, Alex Lewis caught Glenn Baldwin slipping with a behind-the-back cross, spin move, and bank shot to close out the quarter. The two teams duked it out throughout the second just as they did in the first. Shannon Cage off the feed from Carson Shepard extended the Bulls' lead with this layup. With 9.5 left in the quarter, the Bulls let this play develop to where Spencer Ryan got caught on Shannon Cage's screen. This left G. Williams wide open to bury another 3-pointer and take a 4-point lead. The Magic would respond quickly on the next play, where EJ Flores off the screen from Irvin Best hit a mean midi near their left elbow. Magic 40, Bulls 42. This was followed by Spencer Ryan, who off the fast break would throw a floater up to the heavens to tie the game at 42. G. Williams, after a quick timeout, exploited the weak coverage from Spencer Ryan to hit another 3-point shot, making it his second of the night. Spencer Ryan was clearly salty after the last play, so he decided to attack G. Williams head-on and lose G off a spin move to lay the ball for 2. With 4:30 left in the quarter, Magic down by 4, Alex Lewis would make another aggressive play in the paint against Lance Baylor for 2 points. After the break, the battle continued well into the third, where EJ Flores hit a clutch 3-point shot to tie the game before heading into the fourth. 11 minutes left in the game with a 2-point lead. Roland Johnston finished this fast break with a big-bodied dunk. A little past the 8-minute mark, the Bulls were able to take a 10-point lead. Alex Lewis would botch the pick and roll, which gave Roland Johnston the time to recover and deny EJ Flores at the rim. Now on the fast break, the big man would finish the possession with a deep mid-range shot that no one was expecting. The Bulls would get another stop, and on the resulting fast break, Roland Johnston would finish at the rim with contact and won. The Magic needed a bucket, and badly, after a 2-17 run. Spencer Ryan moved in from the perimeter to make a mid-range shot. Magic 98, Bulls 111. Spencer Ryan would go on to hit another 3-point shot off the fast break to get the Magic back into the game, but it wasn't enough. The Bulls would go on to win Game 6 137-127. Looking at the tape, Roland Johnston was feasting in the paint during the fourth quarter to lead the Bulls in scoring with 28 points, 8 boards, and 2 assists on 86% shooting. Also got to give props to the other Bulls who got busy, such as the G League phenom Skylar Cash, who came close to a triple-double with 24 points, 11 boards, and 9 assists, all while shooting 67% from the field. AJ West, who came close to a triple-double as well with 24 points, 8 boards, and 6 assists, shooting 11 for 17 from the field, as well as G. Williams, who had 23 points, 6 boards, and 6 assists. As for the Magic, the other rookie Spencer Ryan would try his best to get the Magic back in the game with 29 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, and a steal on 61% shooting. EJ Flores had 28 points and 5 assists on 12 for 20 shooting, but him fouling out in the last 4 minutes of the game was a big hit to the Magic offense. Darren Harper came in with the third highest points with 23 points, 13 boards, and 5 assists on 50% shooting, but I would say that both teams were fairly even in scoring throughout the game, and both teams were terrible defending the paint, but what stood out the most were the hustle plays from the Bulls. This, coupled with the free points that the Magic gave at the line, is what ultimately did the Magic in. The Bulls were able to pull through and beat yet another higher seeded team in another incredible series. After winning 3 straight games to earn a spot in the conference finals, the Bulls will need to prepare for the winner of the 76ers versus Hawks series. In the next series that I will highlight, we are going to go through the much anticipated Pelicans versus Rockets. Throughout the course of the season, I've said that the Rockets are the team to beat out west. The Pelicans barely got by the Warriors in round 1, so this should be very interesting. That is it for today's video, fam. If you made it to this point, leave "the Bulls are back" down below so I know you made it to the end of the video. As always, I enjoy playing this game and making these videos. I hope you enjoyed it as well. The road to the FBL finals is almost done, so thank you for riding with me on this journey. Until the next episode, fam, keep grinding, keep growing, and keep shining. 1.